Hi. So, welcome back to Fortune Cookies Tarot. I thought I would do a little fun check in on King Charles and Queen Camilla. So, I actually don't have this on my scheduler, but I'm putting it up. I'm going to do a special, like 15-minute check in reading at a special price for you all. And what I can do is I can either text message it to you or I can send it to you um, by Vimeo link, like whatever you want. Like we'll do like a really cool, like little 15-minute check-in. Can be for short questions, that kind of thing. So, I thought it'd be fun. We'll do another cool little offering for you. So you can check that out. Links will be through my my website, fortunecookiestarot.com. You can also check out my Calendly link. There's a link in the description of this video that you can hook up to my scheduler. Like I said, it won't be a live read. It'll be like a real quick, like little video read that I'll do for you. You could just give me a question and we'll give you an answer really quick. So a lot of my clients do that. They'll send me a text message and say, hey, I have to make a decision about a dress or about where we're going to lunch or like little stuff like that. We can do just real quick readings, and I can typically do them outside of my regular work hours, like on the fly. So I always have like 8 decks on me. So my bag is really heavy. Chiropractor doesn't like it, but this will be like a little sample of what we can do. So we all know that King Charles made a really, really big decision a few months ago and didn't make a fuss out of it, didn't broadcast it, didn't highlight it. But he decided to not renew the lease. I'm not going to call it eviction because they weren't there and the lease is up for renewal, and they were just told after the book came out, they were told, don't do this. They did that, and they didn't renew the lease. So again, I'm going to underscore Grace and Favor Homes are in exchange for duties and service, or it is part of an employment package with the royal family, or with anyone who is in some position of power and is going to have the luxury of Grace and Favor Homes at their disposal. So very, very cool. I'm sure our power families in the United States, the Bushes, the Kennedys, the Bidens, whoever, I'm sure they have a portfolio of real estate that they can let family members stay as Grace and Favor. So this isn't unusual. When I split up with my ex, my father established a condo for me, my awesome dad, and got me from A to B because I wasn't working at the time, and said, just go work your ass off and get your stuff back together. So, that would have been like a Grace and Favor home. So, and I'm very grateful for that. And people should be very grateful for that. If you're given the opportunity to live in some modicum of security while you establish yourself or recover from an illness or something like that, makes a lot of sense. But the Grace and Favor homes in Great Britain from the royal family are in exchange for service or in exchange for your consistent working, and they're not working right now. So let's see how good King Charles and his lovely wife are doing. So let's see how Charles is feeling now that this information has been released to the general public and the plebeians like you and I. Feel like I should have like a tiara on, but it's really early in the morning on Saturday, so you can't wear a tiara until after 6 p.m. After 6 p.m., I'll put my tiara on. So while I'm playing Mario Kart or Animal Crossing. I've been working on my Animal Crossing. I've been trying to force myself into downtime. Like typically what I do when I have downtime, when I don't have any responsibilities like the house or my 2 full-time jobs or my children or my husband, I will study. And I've been trying to not study during my free time. So trying to, downshift a little bit, enjoy myself a little. So let's see how Good King Charles. That's what I'm calling him from now on. Good King Charles is feeling after this information has gotten out. The Sun. I think he's glad that this information came out. Lovers in reverse, that they have split. His message is going to be, that we've done as much as we can, but they have fought us every way, every inch of the way. And the relationship is over. My goodness. Under the surface, we have that 7 of Cups, which is they have many, many paths from which they can choose. And the paths with us are now limited. Let's say limited. But they have many, many paths. They have all the opportunity in the world, all the ability to go forth and do whatever they're going to do. I'm going to bring my rose quartz down here a little bit more just because it's such a lovey-dovey reading. But this is, you wanted to go forth without a plan very, very quickly. You can't come backward and ask for grace and favor. You can't do that. So we wish they're releasing them with love, which is a very Louise Hay kind of mantra. I'm releasing you with love. So what does he expect? What is his expected result from this? What does he think is going to happen? He knows there's going to be conflict, and he knows there's going to be up and down, and they're not going to be thinking high-mindedly. They're going to attempt to continue with the work that they're doing. They're going to attempt to rattle the cage of the royal family. This is expected. King Charles expects this. So dominant energy, 9 of Wands, they're not going to be as cloistered as we've seen in the past. And I think they're going to be very frank about how they are done with this relationship. I wonder if King Charles has gone through some therapy, if he has had these kinds of conversations with a professional, discussing the ultimate outcome that he's come to at this point, because it really does feel like he has closed a door. It feels very much, I hate to say tough love, because that whole tough love and like crazy therapies that went on in the 80s and the early 90s, where families that had troubled children were like, let them screw up, and then they can come crawling back on skin, knees, and a belly, and that really to let them bottom out. This feels like I have to let him bottom out, which is a bit cruel when your child is 16 or 17 and being stupid, when your child is easing up to 40. Maybe not so much. Maybe you should shut your mouth and not be such a jerk face. But King Charles expects a lot of drama. What is his protocol for the coronation? What is his plan for the coronation? How is he going to protect this amazing event that we have coming up? This is an amazing event. Let's admit it. We're all very excited about this event. He expects the negativity. So in the words of Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high. That is really what they're going to do. The wagons are circled with the family. Under the surface, they are all of the same mind on this. So I don't know about, and I may have to do another part 2 or something like that, but I don't know about Eugenie. She's kind of the odd man out, and everyone kind of says that she is the mole in the family. She's the conduit to Harry and Meghan. But this tells me that the family is all on the same page. Everybody's on the same page here. They have a contingency plan. They have a plan. They have a contingency plan, and they're all going to stick with it. They're all expecting things to go up and down. And they have plans for every single thing that may or may not be thrown their way, every single piece of information. Are they going to send them an invite? Those of you that don't know what's an invite, people do this with weddings and parties. They'll send you an invitation knowing that you can't come. So, partly I've always thought that this was an invite because it was on Archie's birthday. They planned the coronation on Archie's birthday. Oh, like sanctimonious date. But so is this an invite? Is this an invite? I think it is. The death card in reverse. This is like putting them between a rock and a hard place. Do they expect them to not come? Does King Charles expect them to not come? He expects them to carefully consider it. 7 of Pentacles, 2 of Cups. No, he doesn't think they're going to come. He thinks they're going to walk. They're going to walk away from this. They're going to use this as an event to further their narrative of they don't like us. We were not invited. They're invited. They're invited. You got to find your own place to stay. You got to watch like a regular person. Could you imagine like Harry like standing behind one of those barriers like, ooh, he's not going to do that. If that's the detail, he's not going to watch like a plebe. He's not, for what was the Jubilee, they had them in that area with the children, where they were whispering, and I think that whole shushing thing, I don't think they were sharing secrets with the children. I think they were like, shh, don't tell anybody we're here, but we're by the window, so like we can get in the picture. I think that was the whole business. They were like, shh, don't tell anybody we're here, which, stupid, really dumb. But are they going to be, I know King Charles cannot exile them from the country, but removing a physical place to live creates a couple of situations. It creates an expense for them. And it also creates an expense for their security, because they would have to stay in a hotel and they would have to have some kind of security detail. Given the negative ratings for them in England, I think it'd be kind of expensive. And, with all the security conversations, I think it kind of creates a situation where it's impossible for them to come. So are they being forced to get their own accommodation for the coronation? That's a yes. They're between a rock and a hard place. Our 2 of Swords is a rock and a hard place. Will they choose to stay stateside and complain? Well, they're not going to depart from the narrative that they have now. They're going to say, we're so exposed. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. Everyone needs to pay attention to us. This is not anything new. This is not, as I'm recording this, Harry, his live stream is about to happen. I am not buying into it. I'm not going to watch it because everybody else is going to report on it. I'm not going to watch it. I'm saving my $30. I don't want a copy of the book in my house. I got it on Audible, and that was hilarious. So read it or listened to it at 1.5 speed, which was even funnier. So they're not going to move on. This pair is not going to go high. They're going to double down together. So all this conversation about like they're potentially getting divorced, they're potentially splitting up, I don't think so. I think they're going to cling to the only island that they have. I think that's what we're seeing. So King Charles, what is your best course of action? Let's give him the best course of action, because there may be some people out there that think that this is a very cruel thing. I know Ahmed said, "This is so cruel. This is so cruel." But is it? Is it? You haven't been there. You haven't been in the house. You know, houses need to be occupied. They need to have somebody in there. They can't be abandoned like that. They fall apart, and then it's an expense to no avail. So, you know, you have to have somebody in there. What is Charles' best course of action? And then we'll take a peek at Camilla real quick. Best course of action is just keep developing a good plan. There's some anxiety, some level of anxiety. He's got to keep thinking. He's got to be one step ahead. He can't take his foot off the gas. The relationship is done. He's got to stop thinking about trying to repair the relationship. He has to work on the relationships that are working for him, and not help out anymore. He's got to really be the king and not be the dad. He's got to look to his history. History is going to be a very, very good thing for him. His advisors, his courtiers should be pulling information from history and saying, these are the things that happen. We live in a modern world. Yes, he can't exile or banish someone. I know Lady Colin Campbell was talking about Michael Romanov, who was the brother of the last Tsar Nicholas II. He married someone that was divorced and was not approved by the Tsar, and he was banished, but he was brought back into the country after a while, and he wound up losing his life because of the revolution, but that's a whole other story. So you know, you can't, as king of England, you can't banish anyone from the country, but you can make it uncomfortable for them to come back, meaning they don't have a place to stay, they don't have a free place to stay. So, you know, that's really the long and short of it. They don't have a free place to stay, and he needs to get to being a king. He needs to stop being distracted by all of this bullish. You guys know what the ish is. So let's take a look at Camilla. How is Camilla doing? There's something immediately, intuitively about her dress. There's something going on with the dress. Something about one of her outfits that she's wearing. There's some kind of drama about that. Something with the fitting. It doesn't fit right. It's heavy. There's something, she's very kind of frail underneath it all. And there's something about the weight of the dress that they need to change. And there's something about, and I tell people, I've read about this before. I think there's something going on with her health. There's something going on with her health. And I think that's why the dress is too heavy or too cumbersome. It just feels like she's got some issues. It feels like the bones are very brittle. The bones are frail. And the weight of it, they're trying to figure out how to get that weight off her. So I think there's going to be some changes to the coronation garb. This isn't the cocktail dress that she has to wear, the ball gown that she has to wear. This is what she has to wear at the coronation. So I'm going to be very interested. I'm going to pay close attention to what she's wearing during the coronation. But they have to make some changes to it. So the grandeur of what she's supposed to wear. Now, I don't know if it's the dress or if it's like this cape or something that she has to wear or she's intended to wear. There's something about that and the crown that are both very, very heavy and going to be very cumbersome for her. So they're trying to problem solve through that. Their outfits do not match right now. So his and hers, king and queen, do not match. And they're trying to resolve that. Someone is going to come up with it. But this is all related to her health. Both of our 9 cups, our 9 of pentacles and our 9 of cups here, are both in reverse. So this is about making her comfortable and making sure that she feels really good going in there, and she's able to get through the ceremony without any discomfort. I believe they have to stand for most of the ceremonies. I'm not sure if that's correct, but I believe they do have to stand. Let me grab some coffee. Again, it's Saturday morning. Tarot for life. That means I drink and, well, I don't eat, but I'm drinking the whole time I'm doing readings. So this is a new beginning for her. the passing of the queen was not her illuminating moment. This coronation is her illuminating moment. This is when it will all become real to her. And she's going to really feel that place in history. And I've said this before on my show, you know, one of the moments where I really felt the expanse of history was when I stood on the spot. I guess it was Westminster Abbey, where Henry VIII condemned Sir Thomas More to death, and they were best friends. And when I stood on that spot, I had a really, really intense psychic moment. And I said, wow, this is like, I really feel the length and breadth of history. And it really was, I was overcome by the emotion that was happening in that moment for Sir Thomas More. And, you know, it's anger and betrayal and you know, really feeling that someone has turned against them, and a very shocking thing. So this moment where they are crowned is so, right now it's such a sorry, I'm a little out of focus. Right now it's so surreal to her, she kind of can't wrap her head around it. But when we're in that moment, and I'll be watching, I hope all of you are going to watch too, it's going to become like a very, very real thing for her, and she is going to realize how that place in history goes. So let's see how the coronation is going to go. And again, remember with tarot, we're always looking at the current vibe, the current emotion. We're not looking at permanent inflexibility. But right now, how is that coronation going to go? I always call it like the mini coronation. Oh, it's going to be disrupted. It's but they're just, it's going to be like water off a duck. There's going to be a big announcement like that day or the night before, and they're just going to smile and wave and party their butts off through it. They are definitely going to have to straddle some negativity that's going to be thrown their way. This is really, I think this is a very cruel thing. Charles waited decades, his entire life, to be crowned king. His whole life has led to this moment, and it's going to be robbed from him partially. They're not going to allow it. He's prepared for it. Again, I do think that there's been some therapy and some advisement, professional advisement that he's been given on how to deal with people that try to burst your bubble and try and wreck your gig. They're going to have to straddle it, but there's going to be you know, a breaking away. We're done with it. We're going to party. Then there's going to be negativity. Then there's going to be this cry for poverty. I think that H&M are going to have like some kind of crisis of security, either here or there, you know, wherever they may go. If they do travel there and pay for their own accommodation and security, they may create a situation where there's a security issue. But there's going to be some kind of drama concerning their security. So like, hey, you know, while my father was having this great party and, you know, getting a crown put on his head, we were terrified hiding in our panic room. Like, it's going to be something like that. So mark my words, mark it down, and we'll talk about it later. So I do hope that you guys are having a great day. More to come. I think we're going to have a few royal videos this week just because we're easing in to that whole coronation hubbub. So I hope you had a great day. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Please like, share, and subscribe. There is a link in the description to get your own magical reading with me. And I hope to see you all soon. Bye-bye for now.